A nonprofit government watchdog called OpenTheBooks.com is finding that last year, almost 300 Metro employees made more money than the mayor does. Now, the city's payroll increased to around $1.5 billion. More employees were added to the payroll as well. So we're joined this morning by Rachel O'Brien from OpenTheBooks.com to break down the latest findings here. Rachel, who did make the most in the city?
Yeah, so that's $1.5 billion for over 32,000 employees. That includes seasonal, part-time, temporary staff. So the highest paid continues to be the schools director, Adrienne Battle, every year. She's at the top there. Last year was $326,000. That's an increase of about $10,000 over the year before, about $10,000 over the year before that. So, half of the people who made over $150,000 are police. They're getting a lot in overtime. But then there are other people like executives, the water services director, the chief medical director, the DOT director, the WeGo CEO. So there were 75 people making $200,000 or more.
So, Rachel, who is making the most money here as far as the overtime is what we're really talking about? How much money is spent on overtime and who is earning the most when it comes to that?
Yeah, so I mentioned police, right? They're making a lot in overtime. So Mayor O'Connell, he made $150,000, $157,000 last year. And so 300 people made more than him. Half of them were police, and that was in large part due to overtime. So there was $50 million spent on overtime for 12,500 people. That's about $7 million more than the year before. So of that, police got $11 million in overtime. The next closest department is the fire department. They got $6 million. Bus drivers, $4 million in overtime. Correction officers, $3 million in overtime. Plenty of other departments got overtime. It's important to note that while the police account for a lot of that overtime, a bunch of it is reimbursed by outside entities who use officers for overtime to provide things like traffic control for events or security to hospitals. So the average employee who collected overtime got about $4,000 in overtime. You do see police who are making tens, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 in overtime, but most people are making that sort of the low amount. There were 428 employees who made $20,000 or more in overtime. Yeah. There were actually 5 people who made more in overtime than in their base pay. So it adds up to a lot. There are a lot of people who are making a lot in overtime.
Yeah, it really is. All right, Rachel O'Brien, thank you so much from OpenTheBooks.com. She's got a full breakdown over there. You can also watch it over on our Fox Nashville YouTube page as well.